Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And I have a star-studded panel tonight. We have Ericka A. Hello, Ericka. Welcome back.
Hi, Randy. Glad to be here. Glad to be back. We're discussing two exciting movies. That one was a very long wait, and I'm excited to be here.
I know, this is going to be a big episode, guys, so just heads up. Rachel, how are you tonight? Rachel Kolb, everybody.
I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually in Iowa currently, responsibly seeing some family here. So
Good. Welcome.
Doing the proper quarantine and everything. So, yeah.
Great.
Hope everyone's having a good holiday season. Yeah.
It's going great for me. Forrest, how's your Forrest Bennett, everybody? How's your holiday going?
Hey, Randy. Not bad. I'm back in the frozen tundra of Tim Burton's. I'm still in the frozen tundra of Tim Burton's Gotham.
Right. I love it. It's great.
I'm looking forward to talking both movies tonight.
Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be good. And Ericka, how is your holiday season? How's it going?
Oh, holidays have been sort of quiet this year, but it's nice, and I'll be glad for New Year's Eve, personally. 2021 is just around the corner.
Definitely need a fresh start after this year. Let's just hope good things happen in 2021. So, Forrest, you were on yesterday for the Predator commentary. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah, it was great.
But I'm curious, what else are you watching? Have you been watching this week?
This week, okay. So earlier today, I just saw Possessor, which is a body horror film from Brandon Cronenberg, son of David.
Oh.
I will tell you right now that the apple did not fall far from the tree on that one.
Cool. Yep. So the next generation of Cronenberg.
Yep. Also spent my Christmas watching DC superhero movies all day, including the one we're going to be discussing tonight, right. As well as Tim Burton's Batman movie, actually, as well as Tim Burton's Batman movies, which I've got my shirt on for.
Nice. And you know what? I completely forgot, guys. We are reviewing Pixar's Soul, as you can see behind me, and also Wonder Woman 1984. So it's going to be, like I said, a very big episode. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And Ericka, what have you been watching this week?
This week, tonight I've got the end of Tell Me a Story, Prodigal Son. They're catching us up on the end. His Dark Materials on HBO. Over the weekend, of course, two of my absolute favorite things that are wrapping up, Pennyworth, which returned on Epic, and the Outpost, which I did catch up on because I was very sad I had to miss 1 week. And it's got only a few episodes left this season on the CW. I love my TV. I'm watching something every night.
You are Under the Radar's unofficial TV critic. I have just decided.
Oh, I'm the media expert. That's what's
I would say. Did you watch the season finale of A Teacher today?
No, I did. Is that a streaming show or?
It's on Hulu with Kate Mara.
Okay, it's a streaming thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm on network television for the most part. I have HBO, I have Showtime, I have Epic, I have Stars, but I'm more of a 2 4 5 7 9 person. 11.
I like that. Old school. It's good stuff. Rachel, I know you're obviously you're home away from home there, and
yes.
You're very busy with family, and that's great. And Dobby.
Yes, of course, Dobby.
Have you managed to squeeze any movies or TV?
Yes. So this week with the family, we watched the Muppet Family Christmas, which of course has the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and Sesame Street all coming together. And that was a lot of fun to get to watch that with some of my family, including my niece. And we watched White Christmas last night, which is an annual watch with my family. And now that I have HBO Max, I'm planning on finishing 6 Feet Under finally, and catching up on some of these other great shows I've been hearing about, like The Undoing and The Flight Attendant. So
I still need to check out Flight Attendant. It looks good.
That's a thriller with Kaley Cuoco, right?
Yeah, Kaley Cuoco.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaley Cuoco. What was that, Ericka?
Oh, The Undoing has a lot of hype, but just be prepared. At the end, it's a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do know the ending to it already, but
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I like David E. Kelley. I'm kind of expecting, that sort of thing from it. I kind of know what to expect. So,
all right.
Yeah.
And a great shout out to HBO Max. I just actually got it this week, and I love it. It might be equal to Netflix, maybe slightly better in their programming choices. But yeah, I'm just loving it. I actually watched rewatched a bunch of the DC extended universe films through it in preparation for tonight. And yeah, it's really a great app. And if you guys don't have it watching, you should check it out. So, all right, guys. So we will go into our first film, which is called Soul, and it is a Pixar film. One of their many great. Well, you know what? I would not call this movie great. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very good. Yeah, I thought the themes were great. Basically, Jamie Foxx voices a jazz musician who accidentally dies, and his soul is basically in limbo, whether to go to the great beyond or not. And basically, along the way, he meets basically a lost soul, 22, played by Tina Fey, and they sort of go on this adventure together, trying to find more about themselves, about their personalities. Basically, it's very existential, and deals with the existence of a soul, of being, and it's kind of heavy, like especially for an animated film. I was pretty surprised by that, but I am impressed that they brought the topic of death and the afterlife to the forefront, and kind of just bringing it to kids in a very digestible way. It's not grim, it's not depressing, but it just is, and I think Pixar really did a very good job with that. It's not one of their best films, but it's still a winner in my opinion. So Rachel, what did you think?
I would actually agree with you. I wouldn't say that it cracks say my top 10 or my top 5 of the Pixar movies. However, I think that the animation style is some of the most innovative that I've seen from Pixar in recent years. I would put it with Coco, with some of just the most striking images and striking scenes, particularly the first shot of him on the moving walkway up to the great beyond. I thought that was really incredible. Weirdly enough, I think maybe the shortfall for me, I've been just kind of digesting it today and trying to figure out what it is that doesn't quite hit for me. And I hate to say it, but I think maybe it was Tina Fey, because I really like the character of 22, but I think that maybe another comedic actor could have taken that even further. I think they were kind of trying to go for almost like Ellen DeGeneres with Finding Nemo, and it wasn't quite that.
I would say, or Amy Poehler in Inside Out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Would you envision a different actress or an actor to play 22?
And that's the thing. I've been kind of giving it some thought, and the person that comes to mind first is actually Nicole Byer. I would love to see someone that's doing a lot of stand-up right now really taking on that role, especially because the character is such a chaotic, supposed to be a chaotic, I guess, I'm trying to think of what the word would be, but she's such a chaotic force in the story.
Almost maybe even Amy Schumer could have been good.
I could have seen Amy Schumer. She wouldn't have been my first pick, but I think there's several others that I probably would have picked first. However, I do want to give a shout out to Rachel House, who was in Thor Ragnarok. She also was in Hunt for the Wilder People and Whale Rider, and she's a phenomenal actress, and she kind of plays the police officer of the afterlife. My apologies, Dobby giving his 2 cents. But I thought that she was really fantastic in this, and I hope that Disney keeps using her in future projects.
Sure. Ericka, I saw your head nodding over there. Or was it disagreement?
A little of both.
All right.
I have to agree with everyone so far. The movie is not truly bad or awful or anything, but it's also just not quite right. I wouldn't even put it in my top 20, though.
Yeah.
I
I don't think
found
there's been 20
very...
Pixar movies.
What?
I don't even think there's been 20 Pixar movies, but I get you.
Well, I was thinking Disney animated in general.
Oh, yeah.
That it's not even up there in the top 20 greatest Disney things. It wouldn't even make any of the great countdowns.
No, I hear you.
It was very abstract at times, and I'm not spoiling the ending, but I felt that it didn't have enough of an ending to it at some point. It was just all this build up to an open-ended, abstract, interpret it, we have no title, we have no right answer. Yeah. Some of the characters were really great, and their voice performances brought a lot to it. Like you said, it was interesting that they talked about souls. The idea that there is life before and there's something that's going to happen and people do die and they're just telling children this. And that I don't object to. They did a nice job at that. I actually found the world where the souls that are like children before they learn how to have personalities is one of my favorite parts visually to look at. But overall, the movie just missed in many ways. One thing, though, I really did like was how much the artistry took the lead characters home and made it believable. As a person who knows what New York looks like, when I saw scenes of him walking around, I felt like I know that block. They really did do a good job drawing it.
Yeah.
Like at one point he's on the subway and I'm like, he's in Long Island City now. And you can tell from the skyline, just from the sign of one of the buildings.
And I actually... I
really love that.
I watched one of the behind the scenes featurettes, and apparently Joe is from Queens.
Okay.
Yeah. And they painted New York City as a beautiful mosaic. Like it looks real. And the animation, Pixar, like every year they go up a notch in terms of their animation. They definitely know what they're doing. They researched New York City. It's obvious because some of these streets, I'm pretty sure I've walked down because they look
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was so believable, and that was something I truly loved about it, that it made you feel like you were there.
Yeah.
And that I give them credit for on a visual level, but the story itself was just lacking in a few different aspects that really took it away from me.
The story, the plot, it's a little You know, they return back to Earth, and they're. I'm about to spoil it.
Yeah,
but
don't say more.
I won't.
And we see more of New York City, and things happen.
Right. It's a very ambitious movie, but it sort of falls flat, unfortunately. Forrest, what was your take on this?
All right. So, first of all, there was a little joke in there about the Knicks that I was like, I feel that I was when they showed it, I was like, I feel attacked. And also, it was kind of also for me. It was just very seeing that, you know, growing up listening to Nine Inch Nails, very jarring to see Trent Reznor going from Nine Inch Nails to scoring a Disney Pixar movie. That was kind of, although I mean it was a great score, it was a very good score, but it's just so, it's like one of those how old am I now moments.
Well, also it's kind of like Danny Elfman with Oingo Boingo detaching from that band to score movies in his own right. So a lot of like band members, heavy metal or punk rock or whatever, rock and roll, they kind of like move on to film scoring, I guess, which is great because this is a fantastic score. I think this is definitely one of Pixar's best scores.
Oh, for sure.
In recent years, I'd say.
As far as the movie itself, I'm probably in the minority here, but I don't know if I would where I'd rank it among Pixar movies in general, but I would probably say this is probably my favorite Pixar movie since Inside Out.
Okay. Well, that was just a few years ago, so it's not.
Yeah, I mean that was only like what 2 years. That was what 2 years ago.
It's like 6.
Yeah, also Pete Docter's another Pete Docter film.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who is, I think, he's the director here, and he's also the chief creative officer at Pixar.
Yes, since the departure of John Lasseter.
Exactly. So yeah, really brilliant minds in terms of animation and story. But yeah, again, this movie, it's good for kids, and I respect the filmmaking choices.
They talk about. I feel like they do really good. I feel like they do a good job of exploring life after death in a way that's sensitive to children.
Yeah.
I think that the best parts of the movie were when they got very specific about life in New York, and with the Black experience. I thought that those were some of the best scenes from it. I feel like the more generic that it got, like with, he's a middle school band teacher, or just generally he's unhappy with things, like that stuff was not as good. But like when he went to the barbershop, I thought that was excellent. The few times that they started like dipping their toe into the world of jazz, I thought that was good.
Yeah, or I feel like for me it was like when he was revealing to his mother that this is not that about how he really felt about how he wanted to live his life. He wanted to live his life. That one definitely struck a chord with me.
Right. It's another slight spoiler. Yeah, it's basically a scene between him and his mother, voiced by Felicia Rashad. Yeah.
They're Huxtable.
Oh my God, the the voice casting choices in this are great. It looks like it just feels like it's them talking, and I'm with you with the barbershop scene. That felt so real, so good. The scenes at the half note were amazing too, and I must note that John Baptiste contributed to some of the music, the jazz music in this movie. And John Baptiste, you guys know him from the Colbert Show. He is the band leader on that. So yeah, he really, and I think they analyzed his finger movements on the piano and kind of like sort of recreated that through the animation. So really, really innovative, really good stuff. So yeah. I would definitely show this to my kids in the future. It's a very delicate way to talk about death, and I'm really grateful that Pixar, had the courage, I guess, I don't know if that's the right word, to bring this type of movie to the forefront, because it's really, it's good. It's not great, it's good, and I just can't get over the themes and the message that they tried to say in this movie. So yeah, good job, Pixar. I'm assuming it's on everybody's radar. You can recommend this, Ericka?
I'm probably putting on my top 10 for 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth watching. It's just lacking that little bit extra that I wanted. Just that little bit.
Me too. It's kind of frustrating actually, but yeah. Ericka, again.
Like I said, I can't rank it that high. It's worth looking. It's worth giving something for your kids to watch at some point as everyone's home a lot more. But I wouldn't say it's something to really jump at. It's the go-to movie of December.
Yeah. I guess, do you find it a little depressing? I'm just curious.
Actually, I wished it could have sometimes been a little more real and depressed. You get to these moments, like you said, the mother-son relationship and the father-son relationship, and it's like it feels real, and then it's just missing that something.
Yeah.
You know what? You just like clicked something in my brain for me, because so there's the end sequence where it's showing so much of his life. And it feels like it is placed in the entirely wrong place in the movie, because we're spending the whole movie with this character that we don't know. Like, it's kind of like Up, but backwards, where it's like in Up, you get like their whole lives in the first 5 minutes. And then for the rest of the movie, you have so much invested in this character and like wanting him to, to have his home and to have his adventure and everything. We don't get that in Soul. We don't get that until the end of the movie. We get this montage about his life, but we should have had that so much sooner.
Probably when he first fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been a good spot for it. I agree.
Interesting. Yeah. So you guys should work at Pixar. You should in the post-production process.
The re-released editor's cut where they move it into the falling sequence.
I'm curious, guys. So Pixar's been around obviously for 25 years now. Toy Story came out in '95.
Yep.
And we've had a slew of wonderful animated films since then. I'm curious, what are your top pick, your favorite Pixar movie so far, Forrest?
Oh, geez. For me, it's probably a toss up between. Let's see. I mean, Toy Story. I saw that one. I remember seeing that one when it came out, and I was a kid. You know, I was 8 years old. So for that one, it's got the nostalgia factor. But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards either Wall-E or Up.
Good choices. Rachel.
Well, because it's been on my brain a lot lately because of the TikTok musical, I'm gonna have to say Ratatouille. That's probably one of my favorites. Coco is also very much becoming a contender for me after multiple rewatch. Which also, by the way, the Ratatouille musical is being staged. They're doing a benefit for Actors Fund, and they got Titus Burgess from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and oh my gosh, the Netflix movie last year with Eddie Murphy. Yes. So he is going to be playing Remy, and it's like an all-star cast for it. I highly recommend looking it up. Tickets are, I think, $5 to stream the show on Today Tix. So I definitely, it goes to a good cause. I would check it out.
Cool. Yeah, you're a big foodie, Rachel. I know you cook, you bake, and so I'm sure that movie definitely strikes a chord with you. Like it's a very, yes. It hits you hard, like hits you in a good way.
Yes, and having now gotten more training and going to school for culinary, I can appreciate how much research and work went into actually making that kitchen and the techniques that they're using accurate to the industry.
And the way that they animated that food was, it looked like you could just eat it off the screen.
Yeah, I think Studio Ghibli is the only one that I've ever seen do food as well as Ratatouille.
Interesting. Cool. Ericka, favorite Pixar movie? If you could pick just one?
That's easy, WALL-E, but I almost forgot how much I do love Ratatouille. But no, I just love WALL-E. I love the solitary feeling of it and the nostalgia of it. That as he's looking at it from a future point, looking back at everything that was, there's just so much to it that one always stands out to me.
Yeah, and whenever I watch Short Circuit or Short Circuit 2, I definitely think of WALL-E. Because that robot design is timeless. I'd say for me, might be a tie between Monsters Incorporated and The Incredibles. Both really fun, beautiful animation, great stories. I'm just curious why Pixar has made 3 Cars movies, but
merchandise. They sell merchandise.
Yeah, merchandising.
That's sad though.
The real money from the movie is made.
Yeah, merchandise.
Yeah, it's probably also the one that maybe aside from The Incredibles is most like targeted at young boys.
Yeah, right. Or just to young children.
Yeah, that's true. Very marketable. Yeah, the toys. Yeah, even though The Incredibles had a brief toy line themselves, but yeah. Anyway, well, yeah, so I think I may have to rewatch it because I think there might have been stuff I missed or kind of overlooked. But yeah, right. Soul now streaming on Disney Plus. So check it out with the whole family, I'd say. All right, guys, so we're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more film reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Rain Younger, Under the Radar. And we are halfway through our movie reviews here. And we went from one pretty big movie, Soul. Next up, we've got the DC Extended Universe Wonder Woman 1984, starring Gal Gadot as the famous superheroine. This time she's in 1984 and she must do battle with Maxwell Lord, who is insane rich. Well, no, he's an insane, power-hungry, money-hungry super villain, I guess you'd call, or just villain. Yeah. And basically he comes in contact with a magical artifact that will grant people wishes, and his wish is to become the very stone, the very object, therefore making him into an evil genie, basically. And at the same time, we've got Kristen Wiig, who is slowly transforming into the villainess Cheetah. There's a lot going on in this movie, and I love the first Wonder Woman. I think it's my favorite extended DC Extended Universe film. And I was a little let down with this one, but at the same time, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was funny. It had great action sequences. Gal Gadot was great once again as Wonder Woman. It's not one of the best DC Extended Universe movies, but it's still pretty fun. And Pedro Pascal, who plays Maxwell Lord, he just chews up the scenery. He's ridiculous. And yeah, he's a lot of fun. Forrest, I know you're a big DC guy. What was your take on this?
All right. Overall, so yeah, I agree. I love the first. I love the first Wonder Woman. I would put it as far as not just DC, the DCEU, but just DC in general. I would put it up there with the Dark Knight with the Dark Knight trilogy, Tim Burton's Batman movies, and the first two Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much I enjoyed it. But this one, I agree. I liked it, but I didn't love it like the first one.
Yeah,
I think the cast is fantastic. The cast is fantastic. Gadot is excellent. Excellent as before, and Pascal was definitely seemed like he was having a lot of fun with the role. And although I felt like Cheetah is Wonder Woman's answer to the Joker and Lex Luthor. Her
arch nemesis.
And this is where was kind of let down. I felt like she was a little under. I felt like Wiig was good for what she had, but I felt a little underdeveloped.
Right. I was about to spoil it once more. Yeah, she was, but you know what?
I feel like the action between the fight scene with her and Wonder Woman could have been a lot stronger.
But you know what? I like their fight sequence because most of the 8 other DC films, their final battle sequences are like all over the place. They're throwing each other into buildings. There's debris all over the place. It's just way too much. But with this, the fight between Wonder Woman and Cheetah was more subtle. It was lighter, which I love because I'm more about character relationships. I don't need to see, super villains and superheroes being thrown into buildings for, 15, 20 minutes. It's tiresome.
For me, I just felt like it seemed a little abbreviated, seemed a little abbreviated.
Yeah.
Relative to like the final confrontation.
Yeah.
I thought, and also I felt like they definitely felt like there was a long stretch between action. There was definitely a long stretch between action scenes, and then Steve Trevor. I felt like I felt like they got a little too hung up on. I wish they had focused more on the relationship between Wonder Woman and Cheetah than they did on Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor.
Right, that was kind of unnecessary. Kind of just whatever.
I feel like that's what really dragged the movie down for me. And I feel like if they had cut that out, that would have made the movie a lot tighter.
I hear you.
Well, they probably could have cut out that entire sequence in Egypt, and it would have been a lot tighter. It wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, they would have saved like a good maybe 10 minutes with that sequence, because the movie itself, I think it's like over 2.5 hours or something like that.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours.
That's a little too long. I think Titanic was 3 hours, right?
Yeah, but this is an issue I've had with a lot. I think the DCEU is the worst offenders. Like they all have to be 2.5 hours.
That's true.
Except part.
I think like maybe Birds of Prey. No, not that was long. One of them was under 2 hours, like Suicide Squad, I think.
Suicide Squad and Justice League both clocked in under 2 hours, whereas Shazam just a little over 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then everything else is just 2.5 hours. I mean, I had planned a whole day of DC movies, but there was a few I had to cut out to save for time because I wanted to watch Batman Returns on Christmas Day. So
nice. Yeah, I think Aquaman 2 is excessively long.
Yes.
So
I feel like at least those ones, Aquaman, I would include with that, but especially Birds of Prey. Like those ones just feel so much breezier, and Shazam as well. Like they just
definitely felt breezy.
Like their pacing on all of those, I feel like is so much better than on this movie. I think pacing is one of its biggest issues.
Also, I think they could have done. I could have done without the prologue of this movie, because we already know Diana's.
I actually didn't mind that much. It was it was nice. It looked like the same actress from the earlier movie, and she grew up, and it was just nice seeing some of the cast again that we won't ever see again.
Yeah,
I feel like it didn't.
Again. That was
exactly.
I felt like we didn't, because we already know Diana's background.
But I wish that scene had a little more tied into that skill as something that she used then. But I did like the way it visually looked, and I liked seeing the cast again. So I would not take that part out. But yes, a lot of the movie did not flow. It lagged. It could have been edited out. Anyone could disagree what parts needed to be edited out.
Compared to the first Wonder Woman, this movie is sort of I wouldn't say a mess. It's just a little all over the place.
Well, when you're ready, I'll tell you how I describe it. I describe it a little more weirder than that.
It needed more focus, maybe more on the 80s world.
Yes.
But,
yeah, and it also lacked, it didn't ever have like the big damn hero moment like it did from the first one, when she's coming out of the trenches and she's like running across the field and like diverting the bullets. There isn't a moment that hits that same level.
Well, she doesn't need to, like that. They don't really need to, like, it's like that was her introduction to the world. Like, look, here I am, I'm Wonder Woman. But they, this is a sequel, so they didn't really need to have that type of shot. But I get what you're saying.
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be exactly like that, though, because I mean, like in Captain America, you like when in the original one, you get First Avenger, you get a lot of big damn hero moments with Cap. But then in Winter Soldier, you also get like the fight in the elevator, which is a very different beast and different like setup, but it's also really super memorable. And I feel like they didn't have something like a scene that immediately when I got done, I wanted to go back and rewatch, except for maybe the mall scene in the beginning.
Yeah,
I thought
that was the reveal, the initial reveal of this movie. Her, after she, more spoilers, after she does something heroic, they have a great shot of her in all her glory, looking badass. And I do love those moments, Rachel. It's good stuff. So again, this movie is unfocused, it's all over the place, but it's got great elements. It just, I don't know, it just needed a better script supervisor or a better editor or something.
Tighter writing.
It was missing something, and that's very frustrating.
Well, what it was missing was more of the build-up and the concentration of building up to villain versus hero. It was very distant and attached in plots. That it was very much Max, and then it was very much the Cheetah origin story without the real building. We only get what we expect to see later on towards the very end. I'm not going to say more because that could be a spoiler to the fight that we talked about before. That wasn't overly that was nice that it wasn't overly CGI'd, that you can see how fake it is as things are flying through the air. It wasn't quite that, but it wasn't quite the hard-hitting moment that we would hope for, such a confrontation of finally seeing Cheetah in the visual aspect that one would expect if they're a fan of the cartoons or the comics or just DC in general.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah, that's a very interesting point, Ericka. And you know what? Yeah,
So I
sorry.
was going to say, the closest I thought they got to the big trench scene was the semi-fight going on that could have been similar to Fast and Furious at the end of the Egypt scene.
That scene was just, yeah, I just want to forget that whole scene altogether.
Okay.
I kind of find it a little unbelievable that there's all these trucks coming on the road, and these kids don't even notice that there's something coming.
That made no sense.
Yeah, and it was so far away too, so they could have definitely gotten out of the way and seen it.
Yeah.
And you know, guys, something just occurred to me. In terms of the villains here, and Forrest, also you're gonna love this. They're kind of like Batman Returns, like because you've got the Max Schreck character, who's obsessed with power and money, and then you have Cheetah, who's basically Catwoman, essentially. And,
actually, I would say a mix of Catwoman and the Penguin as far as being a freak.
Yeah, but there's a lot of parallels, so that's pretty cool.
And there's even Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There you go. And worth noting is you guys know I'm a big film score guy. Hans Zimmer, I think he did a great job here in his best work in a while.
I feel like the score did stand out to me in this one compared to the first one.
I think there were cues here, and there's a theme. I think he adapted his own theme. He took his own theme from the first film, that heavy hitting rock and roll theme, that, you know what I mean? He takes that motif and basically turns it more melodic, more with like strings and brass, making it sound more heroic, in my opinion. And I actually, on HBO Plus, they have a featurette, and in one of the featurettes, Hans Zimmer does like a little performance of the theme, and it's pretty great. So just letting you guys know. So, Ericka, Wonder Woman 1984, are you going to recommend this to people, or?
I was a little let down by the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't truly awful. It wasn't as bad as some of the places are bad-mouthing it online. I looked at some of those and I was like, okay, it's sort of slow-moving. It's a little too much talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's, in a way, it almost feels like, I would describe it, if we were in an old Bond movie based on Fleming's books and way too much time was spent just on the villain if James Bond never arrived. I wish the Steve and Diana parts actually led up to something more often. Because I, unlike you guys, I was so glad. I'm like, Steve is back. Okay, that's a very weird way to get him back. But we knew it was coming. And it's like, but I wanted the romance, and some of those parts took a little longer. Some of them were fun. I actually enjoyed seeing Steve realize how much he missed and how America kept changing from early aeronautics to the world it was now.
Yeah.
And his love of fanny packs.
Yes, his love of fanny packs.
I think if they should have focused on either Cheetah's evolution or focus on Steve Trevor and his,
No. I think it would have just been more of of them finding Cheetah earlier on, as she changed a little quicker.
I think Steve Trevor's inclusion in this was kind of unnecessary, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I thought it was funny, him, like, whoa, what's that?
But no, he has to be there. It would be like having Superman without Lois Lane.
I know.
If Captain America can move on from Haley Atwell, why can't Wonder Woman move?
He actually moved on, though?
Not really. Not in the movie.
But she wasn't as big. Her role wasn't as big in Winter Soldier as it was in the first.
Because she's elderly. She can't move around. If he could wheel her from scene to scene, I think he would have, just to have her there.
Very silly. All right, so we did our favorite Pixar movies. I'm curious now, favorite extended universe DC movies. Rachel.
If we're talking the recent extended universe, I would have to say it's a very close tie between Shazam and Birds of Prey. I really enjoyed Birds of Prey. It kind of hit on everything that I've been wanting from some of these superhero movies. It's so goofy, it's so colorful, and I want that sandwich. Even though I don't eat meat, I really want Harley's sandwich from that deli.
The egg, bacon, and cheese omelet
Yeah.
on a roll. Yeah.
Yep.
It does look good.
Egg and cheese on a roll. That's how we say it around here.
Nice. Forrest, favorite DC movie for you? DC Extended.
Okay, if we're just going by exclusively on DC Extended Universe, I would probably say Wonder Woman and Shazam.
Nice.
Shazam, I would say ever since it came out has been on. I mean, even though it only came out a year ago, but I have put it on my rotation of holiday must watch movies. Usually paired up with Batman Returns, since they're both they're both DC movies set at Christmas time.
Yeah, that's a good one, and you don't really hear much about it. And I'm happy that they're coming out with a sequel.
Yeah. So although having lived in Pennsylvania, I did have some grievances about Shazam. Like nobody in Pennsylvania can buy there's a scene where Shazam and the kid go to buy beer at a convenience store, and I'm like, you can't even buy beer at a convenience store in Pennsylvania. You have to go to a beer store.
See, Forrest, you should work for DC.
Yeah, or as a location manager. Yeah,
it's done. Do it. Ericka, favorite DC extended movie?
So favorite DCEU movies might be either the first Wonder Woman or Aquaman. Because I really did enjoy Aquaman. Jason improved on me from Justice League, where I thought he was the weakest character. And
absolutely agree.
In it. But I also loved the first Wonder Woman movie, which was why this one disappointed me a little bit.
Same here.
Because maybe it was late, and I was waiting, and it couldn't live up to the expectation or the anticipation.
Hopefully the third one will be better than this, but we shall see. I'm with you too, Ericka. The first Wonder Woman, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it is a really good superhero movie. It has a great flow. Gal Gadot.
And a great story that it tells. Yeah. Even when I was hurt that they've changed the origin story, and I knew that the origin story is the new one and not the one for all those years ago at the tournament. And I was like, but I still loved it. I loved the characters, and I loved her as she grew into a person.
Yeah. And
learned that everything isn't as black and white. And this one just wasn't as much that, but Wonder Woman or Aquaman.
Okay, gotcha. So Wonder Woman for me, and then I think maybe number 2 would be Suicide Squad. Maybe, really? Maybe that would be tied with Justice League, but I just love Will Smith. I love the rest of the cast. I love Viola Davis, who's fantastic.
I mean, I like Margot Robbie and Will Smith, but other than that, it was too messy for my taste.
I'm waiting for the James Gunn one.
Yeah, same here. I love huge gun fan. So.
Yeah, it's a great cast.
Huge gun fan dating back to when he was with Troma. So
nice, cool guys. Well, sort of like a lukewarm reception here for Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
if I could throw in one more thought about this is not really a spoiler for the ending. I'll just say that the character of Barbara gets no ending.
Yeah,
it's true. That was disappointed with that.
Right.
Just completely forget about her.
Yeah.
Like Pedro Pascal gets more to do in the last bit than she does.
I feel like they were hyping it up as Cheetah being the main villain. They were hyping it up with Cheetah being the.
I thought she might actually come back at the end of the credits, and so I'm looking and scrolling. Like, is there going to be a final reveal for her?
Or kind of like the end of Batman Returns, where Catwoman appears.
Yes, exactly.
Right before the credits. But we didn't get that, but we'll see what happens.
We did get one scene in the credits. That one was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, I lost it at that scene.
And so a spoiler or?
I don't know. Is the third one gonna be just about the mythical land, of the gods, the Amazon women?
I don't think they've said anything about given any details yet. They just said all that's been said is that the third movie's been greenlit.
Okay, because I heard something that they're making something about the Amazon paradise, kind of like a prequel. I could be wrong because you guys haven't heard about this. Alrighty then. So we're gonna move on. So, okay, every month Paramount Pictures releases a handful of movies that are celebrating certain anniversaries. And I just wanted to go through the list, give them a little shout out. So, yeah, the anniversaries for January, starting off with the Court Jester. It's celebrating the 65th anniversary. And then next up, we've got From Dusk Till Dawn, celebrating the 25th anniversary. So I don't know if you guys are a fan of any of those movies so far.
Court Jester.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. I am a Danny Kaye aficionado. And while some aspects of the movie haven't aged as well, it also has a very very young Angela Lansbury is in it, doing a comedic part, and it also has one of my favorite tongue twisters of any movie: the pellet with the poisons and the chalice with the palace, the flagon with the dragon has the beard that is true. So it's definitely worth checking out for those parts.
Nicely done, Rachel. Nicely done. And so yeah, I haven't seen The Court Jester, but just from that, sounds pretty interesting. So yeah, like I said, From Dusk Till Dawn is celebrating the 25th anniversary, and that is just a wacky, fun Robert Rodriguez ride.
Quentin
Tarantino's in it with George Clooney. You've got Danny Trejo,
Tom Savini, Salma Hayek.
Yep. So that's a crazy movie.
That is a great movie, though. It's amazing. It's 25 years.
Yeah,
I know.
Apparently.
I would have guessed like 2022.
Yeah, no, it's been around.
More than 20 years. Okay.
So Tarantino did that. Was involved with that. Did that.
He wrote and starred in it.
He wrote it. Okay, so he did that right after Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good time for him. Next up, we've got Chocolat celebrating its 20th anniversary. I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan, but
oh yeah, I knew that. Sorry.
He's like a heartthrob in this, and
I saw part of it when I was a teenager, but I never watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina is truly great in it, though.
Who's it?
Alfred Molina.
Oh,
He plays the local religious leader who is against this chocolate shop being opened by a single mother, and generally disapproves of all the influences she's bringing into the town.
Interesting. Okay. Sounds a little better now. Chocolat, celebrating its 20th anniversary. Next up is the Queens of Comedy, celebrating their 20th as well. You guys a fan of that?
I've never seen it.
No?
Never seen it either.
Yeah, me neither.
I've seen the original Kings of Comedy.
Okay. Save the Last Dance, also celebrating the 20th anniversary.
That's more my sister's thing.
Oh, that was a fun movie, though.
Julia Stiles, and yeah, it's decent. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
The Accidental Spy with Jackie Chan, celebrating the 20th anniversary. Nope.
Never seen it.
Seen enough of it. I had a friend who was Jackie, named after Jackie Chan, and he was too obsessed.
Oh, really? I mean, Jackie Chan's good. I really love the Rush Hour. Rush Hours 1 and 2. 3 is just a bomb. It's atrocious. And I actually rewatched the Karate Kid remake, and he actually was decent in that. He has some acting chops. You know, he really tapped into something there.
I think my favorite role of his, though, is still Drunken Master, because it's such a good marriage of his comedy and his action skills.
Does his comedy
I'd probably say Super Cop.
That's his whole fighting style. That he's able to move with it, that he can make it into a joke. But yeah, Drunken Master is probably the truest movie to his form that probably the director or no one tampered with.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have to educate myself in Jackie Chan's filmography. I really just know his later stuff when he came to America after Rumble in the Bronx. But he's charismatic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Next up is The Last Holiday, celebrating its 15th anniversary.
Is that the one with Queen Latifah?
Yes. That's a perfect New Year's movie it's fun in its own way. Sort of weird her and LL Cool J's part together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them as the right couple.
I could see that. I think they'd complement each other very well, actually. But all right, Last Holiday. It's kind of a random romantic comedy. Here's another romantic comedy, one of which I was not a fan. No Strings Attached, directed by Ivan Reitman, who did Ghostbusters, but he did this for some reason.
That was one with Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's two of those kinds of movies that came out that year.
The other one was Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Friends with
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They came out like around the same time.
Months apart.
Yeah. I didn't see the Mila Kunis one, but No Strings Attached, from what I remember, was pretty bad. Then again, I don't like Ashton Kutcher I don't really like him at all. I don't think he can act. I don't think he's talented. I think
He is rather annoying to watch.
He's irritating.
I never got into him.
Yeah. Like that 70s show, he was just obnoxious, and I don't know how he made it in this business, but okay.
Well, I don't have strong feelings about Ashton Kutcher, but I can't say anything bad about him because he is an Iowa native. So cannot talk too badly about him. But yeah, he's not my favorite actor. I'll say that much.
Gotcha. All right. And it's just so strange that Ivan Reitman directed this. It just seemed like a paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like that's been Ivan Reitman, the trajectory of Ivan Reitman's career since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Since Junior, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, guys, we've got 13 Hours celebrating its 5th anniversary, starring John Krasinski. Sort of it's actually a Michael Bay military action movie, and this was like a transformation for him. He went from Jim from The Office, kind of like this sort of goofy leading man, to like this chiseled, muscular mercenary soldier, whatever. So it was an interesting.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, interesting evolution for him as an actor.
Yeah,
So,
I think even though I haven't seen the Jack Ryan show, I think I'd probably prefer watching that to 13 Hours.
I think it's like sort of the same thing in a way. It feels from the descriptions of each one, it sounds very, very similar.
Yeah, because the 13 Hours is also known as the Benghazi movie. So
yeah. And I know Rachel, you're a big Office fan, so
yes.
I haven't been following John Krasinski's career. I know he did. Oh wow, yeah, he definitely did that. That online sort of. It was a web series, I think. Remember that?
Yeah, Some Good News. That was much earlier in 2020, and then he sold it for quite a bit of money with material that was taken from a lot of other people that provided it for free. So I have some feelings on that.
Oh wow.
I do still enjoy him as an actor, but I felt like that move was perhaps a bit cynical.
Okay. I remember it was one of the first bits of content to come out during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I commend him for initiating that and bring entertainment back into people's lives. So that's pretty cool.
I think he actually brought it back for Christmas also with, I think he got The Rock involved and I think a couple other celebrities. But it's been sold the concept of Some Good News has been sold to CBS.
And Krasinski he's not starring in it at all, or?
As far as I'm aware, he has no involvement, just got a paycheck out of it.
Wow.
So CBS could just move it to their All Access and no one will ever see it again unless they pay.
Oh, I do love some of the content on All Access, but I can't disagree with you.
Telling you though that Krasinski's that check must have been really big. So good for him. All right, guys. So we have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to see what do you have on deck for this week? What are you watching? Ericka, more TV, obviously.
Yes, more TV, a few movies. I'll probably be flipping back and forth. I'll have a movie as my happy alternate.
Mm-hmm.
right now, I think I'm most excited for next week. The next 2 weeks, everything is supposed to be starting to come back. Things that all had to hold production back pre-pandemic. CW keeps talking about all the Arrowverse shows. And I think I'm excited most about Prodigal Son returning back with new episodes.
Cool.
Which was a really great Fox show. It was about a son who used to be an agent who's now consulting for the police. And his father is a serial killer who he sometimes has helped him solve the crimes. And so it's very disturbing and psychotic. And it's a very interesting mix of his past coming back to haunt him and his job with new crazy killers.
Cool. And speaking to the live action DC TV shows, I thought I was done with 9 films, but apparently I have a lot more to go with the shows and
you have the Arrowverse, and you have all the Fox stuff too that you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
Arrowverse, you got the DC Universe stuff like Titans and Doom Patrol.
I stopped watching DC stuff at Batman Beyond, so I have some catching up to do. But Forrest, what are you watching this week in a nutshell?
Let's see. Tomorrow. Since tomorrow is the 75th birthday, is his 75th birthday. I'll be watching. It's Lloyd Kaufman's 75th birthday. I'll be watching Trauma movies tomorrow.
Cool.
Like the Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Tromeo and Juliet.
Nice.
And then I'll be doing my annual New Year's Eve lineup of Terror Train, Trading Places, and Ghostbusters 2.
Oh my! That's such a trio of movies. It's great.
Of Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis.
I love it.
And then at some point I'm going to try and shoehorn a Karate Kid marathon to prep up for
Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Refresher. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I should just tell everybody that New Year's Day I'm going to be doing Nostalgia Time with Kid Champagne, good buddy Matt Haberman. We're going to be doing a show dedicated to Ghostbusters 2, my favorite film of all time. So stay tuned for that. Rachel, what are you watching this week?
Well, now that I have HBO Max, I'm catching up on a number of movies that I missed, including Detective Pikachu and Ready or Not. I'm really excited to watch Ready or Not.
Ready or Not is disappearing at the end of the week, so watch that one first.
Really? Okay.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
It was on the end list, and I know every time I played, I'm like, I've never seen how it ends. I have to see it in the next 2 days.
Yeah, Ready or Not was on my best of 2019 list.
Oh wow. Okay. So I will definitely be watching that then in the next few days. And I definitely am going to be introducing the in-laws to a couple other movies from Netflix that they missed out on because they don't do streaming. And I expect that they'll probably want to rewatch Soul at some point because they kind of caught bits and pieces of it when I was watching it. So
nice. Wow, guys. So you have a full week ahead of you. A lot of good entertainment, and enjoy every bit of it. All right, guys. So I think we're about out of time here, but I just want to thank all of you for today. This was wonderful. It's great seeing all of your faces and talking movies as usual. So it's great. And also everyone who I don't see, who's watching this now, I want to thank you for watching on your devices. And yeah, I'm Randy Unger. This has been Unger the Radar, and we'll see you next week for more movie reviews. We'll see you then. Take care.